wonderful sound, isn't it, kids?
Oh, wait, did that give you a headache?
Oh, wait, you've already got a headache.
You know the drill. Water, aspirin, brew the coffee, fry up the eggs and bacon and sausage.
It's December the 21st, 2024. This is your last weekend edition before Christmas. So, as a present to you, to nurse you through the rejection and all the pain you're suffering through after drinking way too much last night, after being rejected by the buxom blonde, the buxom brunette, the buxom redhead, and the buxom guy you thought was a woman.
The he, she, the she, he.
We are here to give you a very special Christmas present.
Yep, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas.
No, we're not doing that. No, it's Merry fucking Christmas.
Prelude to our movie review.
All right.
Sheesh.
Thought you were going politically correct on me.
Fuck you.
This is politically incorrect stuff we do here each and every Saturday morning.
You were not paying attention to our movie review.
There was a lot going on in that movie, okay? I think you're focusing on a part that's very minor in comparison to everything else that was going on. But our Christmas present to you here on December the 21st, 2024 is, since your Uncle Dave, the way our taping schedule is falling, will be gone for the next few weeks.
2 weeks, kids.
We've decided that this week will be the week where we give you our top 5 lists for 2024. Top 5 songs, top 5 albums, top 5 concerts, and top 5 movies of the year. Everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it.
So are we. Because we're the coolest.
So, I asked your Uncle Dave. He wants to start off with our top 5 songs. Of course, we always start off with music here on the weekend edition. So we're going to knock out 3 of the top 4 of the list right away.
There you go. That's what we do. That's what you get. So go with songs. Songs may not line up with everything from the albums. That's the caveat with this.
Well, it's not a caveat. I know where you're going, and I agree with you completely. And I will say this, spoiler alert. I don't know why I did this way this year. There will be no song in my top 5 from any of my top 5 albums.
Really? I've got a couple.
Which I understand completely.
But there we go. But we do know.
But for some reason, when I was compiling these lists, the albums seem to be better as cohesive wholes than for me to, that sounded dirty, than for me to split them up and grab.
Pick and choose.
The 5 top songs I came up with have nothing to do with my top 5
Well, there
albums.
you go.
So.
All right. And we do go from our
5 to 1.
5 to 1.
Yes. Yes. Build up the drama.
Favorite.
We got to build up the drama.
It's all about the drama, man. Not Dramamine. Although some people may need this for the roller coaster that we are.
And this is always fun because Dave and I do not compare ahead of time. So I have a feeling there are a couple areas where we will agree, but a lot of this is going to be fun because
you never know
songs, I think,
what has struck a chord.
Starting off with songs will be fun because I think this could be really wild.
This is going to be out there, kids. All right, let me begin because I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Okay? Well, you think you're going to?
Maybe, but I actually have at number 5, Split Screen.
By Kings of
Leon.
I don't think that's a curveball. I know you like that song.
Yeah, but it did make number 5 for me. That was just one of those cool songs this year that I was surprised that I enjoyed so much. and I've listened to it a number of times.
I've got to notate your list for future reference, as we will put all of these show notes in the annals, in the Sports Frenzy Hall of Fame,
Yes.
along with Huggy Bear's bowling ball and all our old signs from the Sports Frenzy cable access days.
Yep.
All right, so that doesn't. I almost put Mustang in,
Ah.
but I did not. Let's see, my notes are a freaking mess here. All right, my number 5 song for 2024, the title track from Pearl Jam's Dark Matter.
There you go.
Is my number 5 song.
All right.
Has arguably my favorite lyric of the year, where he sings about, and I know I'm not going to get this 100% right, but isn't it strange these days when everybody else pays for somebody else's mistakes? I'm like, doesn't that just sum up life?
Yep, pretty much.
I love that line. Kudos to Eddie Vedder for that line. That's my number 5.
All right. Coming in at number 4. This is a recommendation one that popped up through the year.
Oh, through like Spotify?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The Way I Am by the Commoners.
Yeah, yep. I remember you brought that up, and we listened to that about a month and a half ago.
Yeah. So that's just a song that I just really frickin' enjoy.
See, that to me is more of a curveball. My number 4 song for 2024, the great Mark Knopfler, Two Pairs of Hands. I can't get enough of that guitar riff. The song reminds me of old Dire Straits from their first couple albums. It just takes me back. I wish he would put out more like that. Instead, he strays into really more country folk type stuff.
Yeah, the storytelling, the monotone.
Yeah, but Two Pairs of Hands, I love the guitar riff.
There you go.
And I think this is going to be a pattern for me, especially when we get to albums where I discuss artists sounding like they used to when they were older.
Yeah.
Or back in the old days when they were better. Let's put it that way.
There you go. All right. Number 3. Hold On to the Dream. Sebastian Bach.
I was wondering if you were going to bring out Sebastian.
There were a few on there. This one, there were several on there that were really good, but this one just kind of hit.
All right, my number 3 song for 2024 is a song that I know you didn't like. Because when we reviewed this album, you could not understand how I love this song. My number 3 song for 2024 is Bluer Than So Blue by Collective Soul.
I knew that was... And there you go. But that's all right. Number 2. Mark Knopfler, Two Pairs of Hands.
Oh! Nice! Nice! I did not expect that.
I loved the throwback feel to Dire Straits.
Oh,
it just had that haunting riff resonates still.
And again, we did not compare notes.
No, we never do.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I did not know we'd go simpatico on that one. Very cool. Very, very cool. That might have just made my whole day right there. My number 2 song for 2024 is U2, Picture of You, X plus W. I love, again, give us the songs out of your archives, out of your vaults.
That was my number 6.
Yeah. Yep. It's such a catchy song. Better than a lot of the stuff they've put out on their
Oh
regular
God.
commercial releases
Yeah.
over the past decade or two.
Absolutely.
It's an earworm. It gets in your ear and it will not let you go.
Yep.
So my number 2 song is U2, Picture of You X plus W.
All right. My number 1. Counting Crows, Wanting and Waiting.
Black Crowes.
Or the Black
Black
Crows.
Crowes.
Sorry, Black Crows, yes. I don't know why I said counting, but Black Crows, Wanting and Waiting. That rockin' tune, just from the time I've heard it, I listen to it regularly and constantly, and it's just there. That's that earworm that will not let go for me.
And it just missed my top 5. It just missed. It was close. It was really close. I actually had to listen to it again today as I was trying to reinforce my picks.
Yeah.
And I was real close to putting that in my top 5. But my number 1 song for 2024, Miles Kennedy, Say What You Will. That is my earworm song.
There you go.
That guitar riff,
That's the one that just missed.
I can't get it out of my head.
That was a top 10.
I cannot get that song out of my head anytime I listen to it.
All right. There we go. All right.
But
album.
I'm very happy that we had the Mark Knopfler song in common.
We did do that. All right, album time. Your turn.
I'll start. All right, top 5 albums of 2025. To me, this is the most significant award to be given. Because we're talking 10, 12 songs of excellence.
Yes.
You can see a great concert. You can see a great movie. You can hear a great song, but a great album will last forever.
And we got stuck into the doldrums a lot this year.
Well, I think this goes back
last couple years where it's just been
probably back to COVID.
Yeah, the mediocrity that's been there.
Ever since COVID, bands record these albums in piecemeal, separately. They don't get together. They make more money off of touring.
Yes.
So they don't like to do albums. So my number 5 album for 2024 is Jerry Cantrell, I Want Blood. Of course, Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains. This was a much stronger solo album for him than the last one.
Yep, for sure.
This sounded, again, the theme. This sounds more like an old school Alice in Chains album. That's why I liked it.
Yep.
So that's my number 5.
Number 5 for me was the Black Crowes' Happiness Bastards.
So there's a repeat with the song
So there
in
is
the
a
album.
repeat there. All right, go on for number 4.
I don't feel like you have to editorialize too much about your picks.
I don't do that. That's not me. You go into the detail. Happiness Bastards, I enjoyed it. It had Wanting and Waiting, and then there really were not that many clunkers on it.
I just got to give you a hard time.
I'm a man of few words.
That's probably a good thing for you. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
It is, actually.
This one might surprise you at number 4. Might. My number 4 album for 2024 is Deep Purple.
Ooh.
Equals 1. I listen to this album, and the more and more I listen to it, the more and more I love it. And I'm like, these dudes are in their 70s, and they're still sounding awesome.
Yeah, it just missed the cut for me.
And there are so many good, catchy songs. I almost
threw one of them in the top 5.
Well, here's the thing that would have been a really cool little synergy thing. Because I had U2 at number 2, right? With Picture of You.
Yeah.
I almost picked Deep Purple's single off of this album, Pictures of You. as one of my top 5 songs.
Would have been-
Just missed the cut.
Would have been interesting.
Just missed the cut. Would have been 2 songs in my top 5. Picture of You, Pictures of You.
There you go.
All right.
Number 4 for me, Jerry Cantrell, I Want Blood.
There you go. Definitely a very good album.
Yes.
Very good album. And
Solid.
Vilified was almost one of my top 5 songs.
It came close. It was a top tenor.
Yep. All right, number 3 for me on our 2024 Albums of the Year countdown. This was tough. When I got to my top 3, the top 3 separated themselves a lot from every other album this year. So my top 3 are by far the best. So then it gets tricky trying to rank them. So number 3, Judas Priest, Invincible Shield, is my number 3 album of the year. They still rock. They still sound awesome. Love the album. The deluxe edition.
Yes.
With the Lodger.
Yes.
Those extra songs
That
seal it.
made it.
They seal the deal.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous that those aren't included on the regular release version.
Yep.
Because they are top quality.
That's sad that those bonus ones are really good.
Yep. So number 3 for me, Invincible Shield by Judas Priest.
All right. Number 3, I have a repeat off of the songs. I'm going with Child Within the Man from Sebastian Bach. A solid rocker.
Even though he's an absolute
Even though he's a douchebag, this album was really solid. So, very enjoyable.
All right. My number 2 album of the year for 2024 is Happiness Bastards by the Black Crowes.
Nice.
I was shocked you have it down so low.
Just one of those things. Just
And
wait.
I'm not a huge Black Crowes fan, don't get me wrong. I love the first couple albums like everybody. But
Then
and
they kind of got a
tailed
little
off, but this album is a
coaster.
full-on
It's a
return to
rocker.
form.
It's very, very good.
And as you said, not really a weak link in the whole album.
No.
So that's my number 2, Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards.
All right, my number 2 is Invincible Shield from Judas Priest.
I figured it had to be coming at some
It was
point.
in there.
Yep,
So just so good.
yep.
All right, now
Now, are we going to agree on number 1, I wonder?
I wonder.
Now, to me, this wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. And this is, again, we're doing the theme of artists who sound like they're going back to their old school sound and resuscitating it and making it their own again.
We may be simpatico here.
Yeah. Number 1 album for 2024 is the return of the old school White Stripes version of Jack White.
No Name.
No Name is the number 1 album of the year.
Yes.
Yes.
We
And
are
I don't think it's
simpatico.
close.
It's not
I
even
don't think
close.
it's close.
No,
I think
this
this
by
album-
far outshone everything else.
This is nasty, dirty, hard blues from beginning to end.
Melt your
Great.
face off riffs.
Solos,
It was-
great lyrics.
Ugh. Fantastic.
Yep, just simple stuff like Old Scratch Blues. I'll trade you a nickel for a dime. You know, just the whole, begging for money,
Yeah.
begging for scraps thing. And it's the sound, it takes you all the way back to,
To the beginning.
well, it takes you back to the highlights of the White Stripes with Elephant and Icky Thump, their 2 best albums.
Yes.
When they did all this.
So
To
good.
me, it was that album, head and tails above everything else. And then,
And
to
then
me,
it's
to me, the next 2 were,
incremental.
next 2 were the next level, the Priest and Black Crowes, and then it was everything else.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Well,
Rolling
that
along.
seemed like that went very quickly. I don't know why, but
I know.
we
It
still got
usually
concerts.
does.
We
We
still
do
got
have our
concerts.
concerts. I had.
How many did you have? I had a total, because we go see concerts. Rarely do we not see concerts together. So I have 15 concerts we saw this year.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 15 concerts. Pick the 5
Distilling
best.
down.
It got tricky. I will say it got tricky.
I have almost a 5A, 5B.
Whatever you want to do. I'm not going to hold it against you. I could almost do that too, but I won't.
So, all right. I am going to make the distinction and just go with one.
Okay.
Number 5, I have to put in Living Color because we finally got the full set.
My 5th best concert of the year, Living Color. Because we got the full set. Yeah, I couldn't. It was. I will say this. For me, it was a tough decision initially. Until I started to think about it a little bit. I hated to leave, for me, but not jumping ahead on your list. I left Roger Klein off. Because the middle part of that set, where he was doing the request only stuff, and then he left a bunch of songs off the table that we wanted to hear.
Yes, I'm
was the deciding factor.
Have to agree with you.
That's
Roger missed the cut,
and I think that's why Living Color got bumped up. Because we got the full set from Living Color. They did not disappoint. They were solid and stellar, and then we finally got again the entire show that we've been waiting for years.
Yes.
To see.
All right, my number 4. It's tough to do at 4, but I had to kind of downgrade it because of the weather issues that we had to endure. So at number 4 comes the Sammy Hagar Show and the Van Halen tribute.
Yep, the Best of All Worlds tour.
Yeah.
And we have to discuss if we're going to go see him again, if they go out and do it again. Because they're supposedly going to change up the set list and do some different Van Halen songs. And
that could be a possibility.
My number 4 is Jackal. Our annual family reunion at the 8 Second Saloon in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I think we kind of discussed this. I can't remember if it was on mic last week. I said it's going to be a lot of old friends here.
Yep.
In this concert countdown. Jackal, one of their best shows.
Absolutely.
Putting them at 4 is in no way insulting them.
No.
This was a great show. Best sound I think we've ever heard from them at the 8 Second Saloon.
Some of the best energy that they had coming out.
Now, we would have tweaked the set list a little bit.
We would have a little here and there.
No complaints.
No.
One of the best. And we've seen them, 7, 8 times?
Yeah.
This is one of the best. Jackal at number 4 for me.
Which is why I have them at number 3.
Can I tell you who my number 3 is?
Sure.
Sammy Hagar.
So there we go.
The weather-shortened Sammy Hagar show is my number 3 show.
All right.
The weather, of course, one flaw in the whole night. This is one of those deals where kids, it's better to not know, but we have the internet. We have all this information flowing at our fingertips. If we had not known that we were supposed to get 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
And we still got an hour and 45 minutes of great music, that probably would have been enough. But knowing that we missed out on 4 more songs.
That hurts.
And then, of course, the gaps because they had to stop and start and stop and
then
start.
The early end, and it was...
But hearing 5150, the song, hearing stuff like Judgment Day, great. And Joe Satriani,
He did a phenomenal job.
Absolutely unbelievable on guitar, mimicking the great one, Eddie Van Halen. Kenny Aronoff stepping up after Jason Bonham had to go back home to help his mom out. With her health. This is a asterisk on this one.
Yeah.
Because if we would have gotten the full show, this could have been the
number one.
This could have been the number one.
Yep.
But I'll put it at 3.
So, all right. For number 2, going back to old friends, a smaller venue. They still bring it. Kick-ass show. I have to give it to Night Ranger.
Okay. And that was just the last one we saw.
Yeah.
At the Lerner Theater in Elkhart, Indiana. My number 2 is Old Friends. We've seen them multiple times. Always dependable. I thought this was one of their best shows of all the times that we've seen them. Collective Soul.
Very close.
Collective Soul was my number 2 show for the year. I thought they were exceptional. Just like Jackal. We've seen them so many times.
They were my number 6.
It's hard to delineate between the different shows.
Yeah.
But I thought Collective Soul was really in good form on this night. So
yeah, I had them at my number 6.
That was at what, 20 Monroe?
Yeah.
Yep, up in Grand Rapids. So
yep.
Now I'm curious about your number 1.
My number 1, a bucket list show that finally got knocked out. One of the women of rock, Pat Benatar, is my number 1 show this year.
Good for you. Good.
That I thoroughly freaking enjoyed. It's one of the ones I had been waiting to see. And it was close. Styx was good. Finally got to see him. Ario was solid.
Styx was one that you'd never seen before.
Right, but Pat Benatar, there's just something about that show that just fucking rocked. That I thoroughly enjoyed.
Awesome. That is awesome. I am so happy that you made that number 1. Now, it just missed the cut for me. Even though I was with you, that was a bucket list show. And I am so happy, and it was a great show. Yeah. And I don't know if we saw a bad show this year at all.
It was hard to pull this together in a top 5.
Yes, because I thought, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
After hearing the other 4 and doing process of elimination, I thought you were going to go Seether.
Seether just missed the cut. I had to do the whole night on it.
Right.
But
yeah, the rest
Seether was really damn good. I enjoyed it. But taking into account venues and different pieces, they came in at 7.
My number 1 for 2024. Call it recency bias, call it what you will. I thought Night Ranger kicked ass. I thought Night Ranger
was a really
put on
damn
one of their
good
best.
show.
Jackal, Collective Soul, Night Ranger. We have seen all 3 of those bands
multiple
times. They're 3 of our favorite bands. They all 3 this year kicked ass. All 3 of them. And I can never take them out of this top 5. But Night Ranger, just getting to see the boys, see them for the first time.
Yeah.
Your boys watching somebody else see it through their eyes.
Yeah. That's why.
But they did Night Ranger, the song, as they always do now, with the full-on drum solo.
And then everybody comes in.
And then they play the deep tracks, and maybe a lot of people don't like stuff like Call My Name.
Oh, come on. How could you not like the deeper stuff on there? Very cool.
And we discussed, some of the songs they didn't play, like Rumors in the Air or
Right.
Secret of My Success, but still, hour and 40 minutes, just pure, unadulterated, awesome rock and roll. They never disappoint. And again, it's all three of those bands. Jackal,
Yep.
Collective Soul, Night Ranger. They never disappoint.
Yep. So
they get
that's
it.
why I had Jackal at 3, Ranger at 2, and Benatar at 1.
Yes, but the fact that you put Benatar at 1, I love that. I love
So
that.
that was just... I didn't know what to expect, but her vocals were phenomenal. Her stage presence was good. Her husband, guitar work.
Yep. I still don't like the whole PC shit.
Where it's hit her name and him.
Well...
Or that she won't play Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Yeah. That I don't like.
Taking that out, that was all right.
But what I loved about that show was that she went deep into her catalog.
She did. She was going
and like
all
you said,
through the years,
you can't do that. You can't go deep into a catalog unless, number one, your fans know you, love you, and they know that music, and they've listened to all your albums, and number two, the sound's got to be good. Got to be able to understand the lyrics.
Yep. And the sound was phenomenal at White River that night.
Yep. That was White River outside of Indianapolis.
Yeah. And I think there was only one song that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
So it was a great set. Thoroughly enjoyable.
That's the thing with concerts is whether it's a deep track that you might not be familiar with or especially a newer song. When they want to play a newer song, the sound has got to be good.
So you get the lyrics.
Because otherwise you are going to send people off to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They're going to go, because they can fill in the gaps with the big hits.
Right.
The brain will fill in the gaps. But we want to hear the lyrics on these songs we're not familiar with or we haven't heard in a long time or new stuff.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
So there we go.
This is why we do this, the way we do it. We have some fun, we learn some things, get some surprises along the way. So who knows what 2025 will hold? Dave and I have been bitching and pissing and moaning and complaining about
the lack of opportunities at this point or the cost.
And the cost.
The cost is fucking ridiculous.
Which I will discuss at the end of the show. But I will try to dig up some reviews for you. Again, some music that probably Dave would never touch with a 10-foot pole. Like next week, I will review a new EP by Wilco. Which Dave goes, have fun with that. Have fun with that.
I'm happy for you.
All right. Let me knock out a shit ton of news.
Because that's news that we bring to you on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
And of course, that is otherwise known as iHeartRadio. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page as well, where you can find links to each and every episode of Sports Frenzy. Not only the weekend edition,
but your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary that drops on Thursday mornings. And all of our picks for everything that we do with our panelists.
Baseball, NASCAR. Yep. All right. TV and streaming, movie news, I'm going to meld them all into one because there's a lot. Because this is a time of the year where the networks renew or cancel a lot of shows. So we got a lot of renew, cancel news. First up, this is why I kind of want to go back and get Apple again. Apple TV. You just got Paramount Plus, so
yeah,
that was a big step for you. I know.
It was.
Bad Monkey renewed for season 2. So Vince Vaughn is coming back.
I always want to call it Monkey's Raincoat.
No, that's wishful thinking.
I know.
The great Robert Crace,
Elvis
Cole,
Cole.
Joe Pike series, which nobody will touch with a 10-foot pole. Whether
For
it's because
shame,
of him,
for
he
shame.
might have like an iron lock on that.
Potentially,
Where he
but
doesn't want anybody messing with his stuff until he's dead and gone.
oh my god, such great storylines though.
So Bad Monkey coming back for season 2. That, of course, based on what Carl Hyacin
Yeah.
book. Now, I watched the first season of this. Did not watch the second season. So maybe I knew something. The Old Man on FX starring Jeff Bridges canceled after the second season. There will not be a third.
I started the first episode, couldn't get into it. It was just slow.
Yeah, the first season was good but not great. And at points it dragged. It did. And I usually love everything with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
That rug really tied the
That
room together, man.
That and a pair of balls.
Now, you and I, of course, we just mentioned you've got Paramount Plus now, which opens up a whole other world for us of stuff to review next year in 2025.
We will give you the recap of season 2 of Tulsa King.
And season 1 of Landman, among many others. And that could include us running through the first 3 seasons of Mayor of Kingstown. Which has just been renewed for a 4th season. So, Disney Plus, believe it or not, resuscitating for a 4-episode run the old school comedy, Malcolm in the Middle.
Still can't get my money to the rat.
We'll see how long it takes. I can't anticipate this coming out in 2025.
No, not the way they work.
Yeah. By the time they get everybody together, the cast members, I guess the youngest has quit acting, so they won't be able to bring his character in, or they'll have to recast it.
They have to work around Frankie's racing career now.
I was just going to say, Frankie Muniz's racing schedule.
Yeah, he's got the full-time truck ride, doesn't he?
Yeah. But it's only 4 episodes, supposedly revolving around the big anniversary party for the parents, wanting to bring the kids back into town.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Now we love our Tom Selleck, Magnum P.I., Jesse Stone. Blue Bloods finally came to an end.
Or did it?
I've heard they're so mad because there is no
CBS
hope.
canceled it.
Right.
But Selleck and Wahlberg have been trying to get somebody to pick it up to continue it.
Yeah, I know they're both passionate about the show. And it ended back on December the 13th.
Yep.
Maybe this will open up Tom Selleck to do some more Jesse Stone. If they did TV movies anymore, which they don't.
Yeah.
But they could do Paramount Plus. Remember Murder, She Wrote, Dave?
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury is Jessica Fletcher.
Yes, the author turned crime solver. God, no. No.
I don't even have to say anything,
No.
kids. I don't even have to say anything.
No.
Well, they're not bringing Murder, She Wrote back as a TV series.
Is it a one-off movie?
A feature film. And it looks like Jamie Lee Curtis will take over as Jessica Fletcher in a Murder, She Wrote feature film. She's another one that's an absolute nutbag, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nope. That's a hard pass.
Now, I know you don't have Hulu,
Nope.
but coming to Hulu in 2025, already in production, an 8-part heavy metal documentary series called Into the Void. You know, I'll be down with that. Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer.
Very intriguing.
Oh, and that's another thing. That's another thing we gotta watch for next year on Paramount Plus. Nothing but a good time. Yes.
Yes.
We have to put that on the agenda.
We do. Based on the book that we read and reviewed.
I got halfway through.
Slacker.
Amazon MGM Studios have a couple interesting projects in the works. First up would be their reimagining for a new film of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Why are you fucking with a classic?
Probably because they own Ian Fleming, that estate, upside down, left and right. So they're taking anything and everything that they can from the estate of Ian Fleming. Because he wrote
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yes. Great children's book. Dick Van Dyke starred in the original movie. Very good.
Yep.
My boys, 21 and 23, when they were younger, absolutely loved it. Their favorite part was the dance sequence to the old bamboo with the bamboo canes. And my mom, at my dad's request, went to the used thrift stores to find them bamboo canes.
That's awesome. Those are the kind of stories where that's what makes music, movies, TV shows special.
It brings it home.
Yes.
So yeah, with the old bamboo. They'd sit there holding it, dancing around the old bamboo, the old bamboo. Good times.
But we talk about this all the time. There are certain movies, certain shows, you just leave them alone.
Don't fuck with them.
And then this, for you, I would have to catch up. But this is big news that they're looking at taking the Jack Ryan series and making a feature film out of it. With John Krasinski.
If they bring the whole cast back, I would be very interested to see what they could do.
I'll tell you what, that possibility opens a door for me. If they're going to do this with Jack Ryan, Reacher, would they? Because I know the Jack Reacher series has got to be at least as popular as Jack
more
Ryan.
so.
Could they end up moving the Jack Reacher series to the movies? 61 hours.
I want that as the series.
You want that in the series?
I want it as a series. I want the details of everything. 61 hours needs to be part of the series. It cannot just be a 2-hour movie.
Okay.
I want the full-fledged, give me everything out of 61 hours.
Comic book news, comic book movie news. Now we talked, what was it, last week about Chris Evans returning in some capacity in Avengers Doomsday. Well, now I think we've got clarity on that based on who else is now coming back. Because Haley Atwell.
Coming back as Agent Carter.
So that leads me to believe
it's a flashback to the 40s.
Yep, that somehow sets everything in motion for Doctor Doom
Yeah.
in the present day. And then, because we all know Marvel and Sony didn't learn anything with this whole Spider-Man, let's do movies about the Spider-Man villains thing, as Craven could be a great movie. Your boys said
My
it was
boys
great.
just saw it. We're recording this on Wednesday, December 18th. This is hitting the 21st. My boys just saw it this afternoon as we're recording this, and they frickin' loved it. They thought it was great.
But box office wise,
Not
disaster.
doing well.
Disaster. Along with Madam Web and Morbius, DC's going to go down this same path, it looks like. DC has got a Clayface movie in the works, already scheduled with a release date of September the 11th, 2026.
Why are you going with Clayface?
Well, they've destroyed Joker now.
Ugh.
If you want to look at it that way, right? They destroyed Joker. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what these companies are doing. Marvel had everything lockstep, sewn up, brilliantly, from Iron Man to Captain America to Thor
Everything was
to the
brilliant,
Avengers.
but then the fucking rat bought it.
And the minute that first run ended,
As
with
soon as
Endgame,
the rat took over, it went to shit.
after Endgame, they lost They lost all their focus. And let's start bringing in PC characters and PC heroes.
They ruined it.
Yep.
Because you have to change the characters to fit the checkbox.
And then, now as you're listening to this, it's not out yet as we're recording this, as Dave said, recording on the 18th. But as you're listening to this on Saturday the 21st, the first trailer has dropped, the first full trailer, not a teaser, for Superman.
I thought it was the teaser that was dropping.
Teaser's out now.
Okay, the teaser's out.
Full
so Saturday...
trailer drops Thursday.
Okay.
Again, for us, tomorrow. For the kids, it's out now.
There we go.
And then there's a very interesting trailer for an A24 movie coming out in 2024, which we all know could be hit and miss.
Yes, it's a 50-50 prop, kids.
Although, you know, I really debated putting I Saw the TV Glow on my top 5 list.
I think that is the number one worst movie of 2024.
Is it even close? Is it even close?
No. That's going to be the worst movie of the century.
Is it even close? But this one could be interesting. Death of a Unicorn with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega as a father and daughter who accidentally run over a unicorn. And then chaos ensues. Because the unicorn has mystical healing powers.
Okay.
That certain people want to misuse.
Of course they do.
I saw it was listed as a horror comedy. So I'm like...
A horromedy?
That's like Renfield,
I might be in on that.
So, all right. That'll do it for all my news that I wanted to spring on your Uncle Dave. I think we're going to do the book review next. Let's do the book review next.
I think we will do that.
We'll build up some suspense.
Before
the top 5 movies of the year. And then our big review. TV stuff. So let's do the book review next. Literary Frenzy.
Making a comeback.
I can almost hear the dulcet tones of Paperback Writer. Going back to our cable access days. When Dave and I forced this on all those bohemian Neanderthals that we worked with. Just kidding. No. But Dave and I tried to work the pop culture stuff in.
That's right. We're trying to
That's where the weekend edition comes from, is
bring
initially...
some literacy and integrity and intelligence.
Well, Sports Frenzy was originally sports with humor. Sports with a Saturday Night Live opening skit.
Ergo, the frenzy.
And then we tried to expand on that a little bit. And then we brought in the pop culture stuff. So that's where the weekend edition comes from. That's why we do the pop culture stuff as well as still the sports stuff. Ergo, therefore, Literary Frenzy and our book reviews.
Yep. So, this week I have for you Now or Never, 31 on the Run, the latest Janet Ivanovich Stephanie Plum novel. Oh, Stephanie. Our hapless bounty huntress and her former hoe compadre Lula. Oh, what they get into. But at the end of the last book, Stephanie found herself engaged to both Ranger and Morelli and celebrated with both of them. So now she finds herself, oh, my grabbed the wrong birth controls and they were expired. So she's holding out, waiting a week to be able to take the test to find out if she's pregnant or not. And if she has to worry about a paternity test in the future. So trying to push both of them off for a few days. As she's trying to bring in her FTAs, the failure to appears, she has the suspect Robin Hoodie, the guy who's been stealing delivery vehicles, food trucks, whatnot, and distributing everything to the homeless. Making a sensation. Nobody wants to see him go to jail. Then there's the old mob guy who runs a fruit distribution business, who's arrested on tax evasion and is suspected in human trafficking. And then there's the guy who thinks he's a vampire, who has murdered a few women with bite marks and slashing their throats, and who's disappeared. So she's also dealing with repairing her firebomb department and has run into a former high school classmate who seems to think he can woo her away from her fiancés by redecorating, painting, carpeting, getting her apartment reset after the firebomb. There's a ton going on in this one.
It sounds like it.
And of course, and surprisingly, I believe this is the only Stephanie Plum adventure where she did not have one or multiple cars blown up or destroyed. It's a miracle. This is a first. But it all comes down to, in the end, who does she marry? Ranger or Morelli? Who does she pick? You'll have to read it to find out.
Who says she picks anybody?
There you go.
See, I used to work with somebody years and years ago down in Florida, in my time down in the Sunshine State, where I had somebody that was a fanatical Janet Ivanovich fan. She read every book the minute they came out. So
they're entertaining and amusing.
And, you know, as we always like to look at the book series that we read, and are they keeping a close tab on it? Does the author not let anybody adapt it? They have the one movie with Katherine Heigl, One for the Money.
Yep.
It did not do well, so that's
it was not a great adaptation.
So they have not gone back to the well ever.
No. Because it was poorly done.
But that's a shame.
Because this is ripe for being a great series to transition into.
But again, maybe Ivanovich looks at it and goes,
They screwed it up.
once
Not
bitten,
gonna do
twice
it.
shy. You know?
So no, this was a solid entry. This is a solid 3. If you love the series, you need to keep going with it.
And then, of course, Dave and I next year in 2025 will get realigned with our books. We've already talked about the fact we're going to be reading the new Jack Reacher, Into Deep, Alex
Brothers.
Van Halen's memoir Brothers, the new Robert B. Parker, Mike Lupica, Hot Property,
Yep,
and the
we're
Hap and
lined
Leonard
up.
book that we didn't know came out.
Good Lord, that was out
Sugar
of
on the
nowhere.
Bones will be after that.
Yeah, so we got you covered
Yep.
on the literary front.
Read a book. Go to your local library and read a book.
Reading is fundamental.
Riff. God, I remember that. Oh my God. I'm old. I'm so old. All right, let's do the TV stuff.
All right, let's do the TV stuff.
Before we get to our season wrap-ups, let's... Creature Commandos, Episode 3. Of course, Season 1, Episode 3. Max, 4 is out now as you're listening to this, but...
Yep. Three focused on GI Robot's backstory.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it did. And 2 old-school DC characters, which the comic book geek in me went crazy. Sergeant Rock and Dr.
Yep.
Magnus,
Yes.
who
Oh my
created the
God.
Metal Men. Very, very cool to see both of them appear in Episode 3, again in connection to G.I. Robot.
Yep. It's a shame this is going to be such a short run.
Well, yeah, the episodes are only 20, 25 minutes, and we've only got 7 total.
Yeah, that's not enough to do this crew justice.
Who will survive?
Who won't?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I'm waiting for the Dr. Phosphorus backstory.
Yeah, I think you're going to get backstories on all
For
of them because we've
everybody.
already got the Bride,
Yep.
and then we've
then
already got
G.I. Robot.
And when does Frankenstein come back in?
Yeah. When does he make his
they've
appearance?
been acting like he's going to be a major part of this.
Haven't seen anything
No.
yet, except for the Bride's backstory.
Yep. Been watching a show, just haven't delved. Very similar to Creature Commandos. Very short episodes, even shorter actually. These only run about 10 minutes. I bet your youngest Nick has been watching this. Just renewed for season 2 on Amazon Prime, Secret Level.
I don't know if he's done that.
Secret Level, the animation on this is ridiculous.
It's
What
on
the-
Amazon?
Yep. What they are is every episode, again, short 8 to 10 minute stories based on video games. So the first episode was based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Interesting.
Now the second one, I couldn't even tell you the name of the animation again. Complete. I have always said, when it comes to animation, and this is my one complaint with Creature Commandos, is the animation to me is generic.
It is a little remedial.
I like the writing, I like the characters. Remedial's a great term for it.
This would have been good back in the early to mid 70s.
Yeah, but for now, now you watch Secret Level, and you compare the animation on this to Creature Commandos, it's like a 4-year-old versus
A grad student?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The first episode is the Dungeons and Dragons, and I had a hard time at times figuring out if it was real or if it was animation.
Wow. So they went heavy in the CGI.
They did. Very, very heavy, but the initial D&D story is really cool. The animation, again, breathtaking. And then I got into the second one, which is set in Japan. The game it's based on, I don't know. Nick Connor would probably know. But
Does
again,
it give
it's
it
a
what
different.
it's called, or
Yeah, it's like Yugi or Yubi. It's
Yu-Gi-Oh?
no. I knew you were going to say that. No, I wish I'd written it down. It's my bad. I didn't write it down.
Well, that's one I will
But-
have to go back to.
But the animation style completely different, but still absolutely stunning. And I know they've renewed it for season 2. And I know coming up, Mega Man is one of the. Remember the old Mega Man video game?
Vaguely.
That's going to be one of the episodes. So they're basically doing one little short 8 to 10 minute animated vignette
So
for
the
all
D&D
these different videos. We could end up down the road
D&D,
getting.
is it the one with, oh God, Dirk the Daring?
No. This is basically where the team is trying to find a cleric.
Okay.
And they've got the other parts they need. They've got the. I'm not a huge
Okay.
D&D fan, but they've got the the spellcaster and the one that can transform,
Okay.
and they've got the gnome, and then they have to go to the dragon at the end for help, and it's just I loved it, and I'm not again a D&D fan. I
Right.
loved it. Now, if it'd gone on for more than 10 minutes, I don't know. But the fact that this reminds me of Black Mirror on Netflix, which I still
Okay.
got to get back into. God, I don't understand how I could love a show so much and not
bail.
watch it all the way through and watch it because it's an anthology.
Yeah.
You can watch one episode. You don't have to watch all of them because it's different. But the different stories, the different changes in tone and theme and look is just amazing. But yeah, I figured by now Nick would be watching Secret Level.
I don't recall him talking about it, but I'll have to check with him on that. Although he did just watch No Country for Old Men on Paramount since we got it. Loved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's playing catch up on a lot of stuff.
Well, that's why you get it. Once you get these streaming services, you pick up on a different catalog and different series
Yeah.
that you never had access to.
Yeah. And on Amazon, he and I have started watching Cross.
I figured you'd get to that eventually. Yeah.
We started watching it, and very good. Very well acted. Based on Patterson's character, and I read the early ones when they were really good before he really became the hack, whoring his name out
You
to
know how I
everything.
feel about him. Yeah.
But they do a really good job with his backstory and how he interacts with the kids and the family. The details are there. They did a phenomenal job with that piece.
And I do
And the
like.
story at this point is really good.
And I do like Aldisage,
Yeah.
who plays Cross, Alex Cross. I like him as an actor. He's very good.
Yeah, and they have him as a damaged character a year after his wife's murder, which is where he was trying
No
to come to
spoilers,
terms.
kids. That's been
That's
out there
the
for
character.
decades. Yeah.
So, but no, they've done a very good job with the characters and the backstories and everything. The details are there. It's really good.
Yeah, but why we're talking about these shows is because we have to make a major shift here because we've had a lot of shows now this past week come to an end for good. And I won't even discuss the return of Saturday night's main event. I guess I just did.
You just did.
And it's coming back in January too, and it'll be a quarterly show. on NBC. Of course, the WWE returning to network TV
As only they can.
wasn't really all that exciting. So, but I'm just happy it's back.
Oh, there you go.
But the shows that we are going to talk about here. You want me to get Yellowstone out of the way first?
Get Yellowstone out of the way.
Okay, because that's
I
just
gave
me.
you my cross intro.
Yeah. Yep. Before we get to our mutual review. Yellowstone, of course, has finally come to an end as the 5th season was dragged out for years and years, split into 2 parts. They finally wrapped it up this past Sunday with episode 14 of season 5. We all know Kevin Costner gone. They wrote off his character of John Dutton. It ended the way I figured it would end, which isn't a bad thing, isn't a terrible thing.
Beth and Rip riding off into the sunset.
Well, they've got their own show, I guess, coming up. So, the way it ended was a little sad. There were more, as I've mentioned here over the past month, having to watch the episodes as they aired or close after they aired because
Avoid
of spoilers. Those episodes were actually more shocking than the ending was. The ending, again, ended without spoilers. It ended the way it should have ended. Justly, sadly. Yes, Rip and Beth will move on. They will have their own show. We'll see what happens with the rest of the Cowhands. Supposedly they're going to do an offshoot show about the 6666 Ranch down in Texas, where a couple of characters are now going to. But the fate of the Yellowstone itself, you have to watch.
All right, there we go.
And I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Good.
I will say this overall as a review of the series as a whole and of the final season. It lost a lot of its intensity over the last couple years, and it didn't help dragging season 5 out as long as they did, splitting it up. Splitting up a season is never a good thing.
No, because that's what you get when you have all the time in between before you film. You give people a chance to do other projects.
Other shows, other movies.
Yeah, fuck it all up and ruin it for the fans.
Yep. So, what started off as a really, really strong show with a lot of, what should I say, palace intrigue and the old school soapy Dallas type stuff.
The family infighting.
Yeah, at the end, you could tell they were stretching out the episodes, showing too much stock footage of cattle and horse riding and rodeos and not enough plot. It was still, the actors still made it work.
But it was...
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser made it work. Everybody wanted to see Rip and Beth.
So pretty much it got lazy.
I can't understand how he is the one person, and I guess this is what makes it work. The one person in the world that could put up with her, because she is just the preeminent bitch of all time. She makes Joan Collins in Dynasty look like a church nun. I mean, Jesus, she's evil. I mean, to get on her good side, you have got to do some incredible things. It seems like there's only like 2 or 3 people in the world she likes. So I don't know if that's a testament to Kelly Riley's acting or what. But, everybody loves Rip. Rip is the ultimate badass cowboy. Stands by his woman, stands by the Yellowstone, no matter what.
It's the code of the West.
Yep. So, in the end, I give it a weak 3 frenzies overall as a series. Started off more as a strong 3, kind of tailed off at the end.
All right, there we go.
Which leads us into
What We Do in the Shadows. Ending now after 6 seasons.
And again, we do not talk about this stuff ahead of time.
No,
so Dave
we
and
don't.
I are now, for the first time on this podcast, discussing the final episode.
A brilliant series with a shit final episode.
I don't think they knew what they wanted to do with it. And I think they were forced into an ending. Because I thought at the beginning, the first couple minutes, it looked like it was going to go one way.
Brilliant. And
the Bride of Cravensworth's Monster.
Come on.
And I thought that was where they're going to go.
And then, oh no.
They just gave up. They dropped it altogether.
Dropped that and they just said, oh, well, we're coming to an end because the documentary's done. I'm like, really? That's what you're doing? I'm like, all right, I can see that. But it was poorly executed. Horribly written. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny outside of the first couple minutes. It was not funny at all. It was a complete letdown.
It was a cop-out. It was a cop-out.
Waititi should fucking be embarrassed.
Yeah, and I told you. We talked about this a couple days ago, off mic. I told you, I'm not a fan of his, and him bitching and pissing and moaning in the media about how the show should have ended earlier. Whose fault is that?
That would have been
plenty of shows that have gone on for 8, 9, 10 years that have had little, if any, creative losses or bumps.
Let's see. I believe Supernatural was supposed to have only originally been a 5-season series. Yeah. And there were very few clunker episodes in there.
And then they had their little pandering moments with a certain person with a toothpick in his mouth, which I knew they had to bring him back. And now, I thought the minute that I watched it, I didn't watch it live. I know I was telling you guys I was going to.
We actually watched it as we're taping this. We watched it before I left to come over because we didn't get a chance prior.
I waited until the next morning. I did not watch it Monday night.
Jackson Daytona Manufacturing.
They had to bring him. And that was the one moment. I had to stop it. I had to stop it. I had to stop it. Because I was laughing so hard.
It's about frickin' time.
Who the fuck are you?
Who let you in here? I'm Jackie Daytona from Tulsa, Arizona.
And I was like, well, thank God at least they did that. Thank God at least they did that. And it you know, you can take it as a little cheap moment where they realized their best episode and they had to revisit it.
It just took too damn long to get there.
Now, I will say this. If you watch, I know you did, but if you watched the scene after the credits, the beginning of the credits, where Guillermo came back, that was nice. That scene was cool.
That was cool.
I will let you sit in my coffin with me.
You can call me Nandor. I know, master.
That ending was fine.
That was good.
But you're right.
Then
the whole
post. That was
Yeah. But I'm with you. It was disappointing.
It was majorly disappointing.
Let's just say it. It is extremely hard. And I'm not trying to bail anybody out, but it's got to be extremely hard. We've seen it with Seinfeld.
When you have a brilliant show to try and bring it to a close.
They should have saved when Nadja hypnotize everybody. That should have been the ending.
They should have ended it right there.
They should have somehow figured a way to push that to the end.
That should have been it with
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That would have been the perfect.
But then it went on for another 20 minutes. Yeah.
Didn't need to be done.
No. And of course, the Frankenstein monster, that went nowhere.
That was
with the whole thing. He's
dumb.
Horny. Again,
okay.
You start off acting like you're gonna make the Bride of Cravensworth's monster.
Yeah, the Bride of Cravensworth.
Right. And then you make a big deal about showing throughout the episode that the monster is horny.
Okay.
You never did anything with it.
Except he did the bear.
Yeah. And hands his penis to the guide.
Just bad. Bad.
Could have been so much better. Could have been so much better.
Very disappointing.
But
the series overall was fantastic.
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows would get 3.5 frenzies for me.
Easily 3.5 overall.
And I would say the last season here had some clunkers that probably bring it down from being a potential 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think each season there might have been one episode that was really, but
and I told you I don't like the guide. I never liked it when they brought her in and forced her in. I didn't think she was funny. I've never thought she was funny.
No, I think
you should have stayed with the original core characters.
Yeah,
bringing in Jerry.
Jerry was just stupid. There was no point.
The only one they brought in was this season with the monster. The monster was entertaining.
Was great.
Yes. And it made sense that Laszlo would try to create his own monster.
Yeah. And this final season, we actually needed more of the Baron and the Sire.
And I don't know about the Canon Capital thing.
That was dumb. That was just why.
But we got great parodies of Apocalypse Now and the Warriors.
So there you go. That offset Canon Capital. I know they were trying to get Guillermo into something different, but it lingered too long.
Yeah. I kind of like Nandor.
As the janitor?
Well, no, at the second to last episode when he's ripping the sign and throwing it.
Like,
what else can I throw at this building?
40 stories up.
Yeah. But it will go down as one of the funniest shows ever.
Yes.
But I'll say this one more time. Very hard to end a show with a great episode. Cheers did it.
MASH did it.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I think Seinfeld failed.
Miserably.
What We Do in the Shadows did not do well.
It's
Friends,
tough.
I don't even remember Friends last episode. Other than what Ross and Rachel at the airport. That wasn't a great ending. All I remember, Cheers, because all they did was shut the lights off.
Yep, they said, sorry, we're closed.
Yep. And then MASH.
Yep. Goodbye. There you go.
Yep. All right, time to move on to movies. We'll do our review, and then we've kept you in suspense long enough. We'll do our top 5
of 2024.
But first, Carry On Netflix. Big time action movie, Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman.
Gee, taking place on Christmas Eve. Lots of references, songs. Sorry, it's not going to supplement Die Hard. Not going to do it.
Watching this, I felt like I was watching Die Hard Light.
Yeah, it kind of had
that. Die Hard is just...
Yeah.
It's trying too hard to be like Die Hard.
There are moments where you can feel they're trying to push it.
Yep.
Now, I liked the premise. Bateman was brilliant.
Yeah, this one's hard for me to review, and I'm ultimately going to give it a positive review because it had so much going on.
Oh my God, it was all.
I mean, it's nonstop. It's
It's
nonstop.
there
Even
are
the little things that
there are
Taron Egerton's character has to do.
there are so many layers
Yeah.
to this that build upon, and you've got this piece coming from the left, this piece coming from the right, something coming from the top, something coming from the bottom. You have to pay attention to this one
Yes.
to get the full effect.
Now, as our buddy Aaron, one of our Sports Frenzy panel members on our sports show, said at our recent meeting when we discussed this, he basically said, you're going to have to, at some time in some of these movies, and I went to school and I took a film class, willing suspension of disbelief.
Right.
You're going to have to let plot holes just be there.
Just deal with it.
Don't freak out about them, and don't let them ruin the movie for you.
Just roll with it.
Because there's a lot of plot holes in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. But just deal with it. It's a movie. Suspension of disbelief is what you're supposed to do during a movie. You go and watch it to be entertained.
And I did like the ending.
The ending was really cool.
It's not like a big knockdown, drag out, explosion filled ending. It's a little more subtle than the rest of the movie.
It's subtle, and it's like,
but it
that
works.
was appropriate.
Yes.
That's what needed to happen.
Yep, it was appropriate. Perfect word for it. It was appropriate. I liked it. I agree completely. Jason Bateman, very good as a bad guy.
Yep, brilliant. Deadpan, no emotion. He's doing a job.
Yep.
And will do whatever he has to do to see it through.
The only problem I had with it is it just does have that been there, done that feel to it.
Yeah. You kind of knew what was going to happen at the very, very end.
It feels like it's... I don't even want to give it credit for being an homage to the great 80s action movies, even though it wants to be one, like a Lethal Weapon or a Die Hard
or a
something
Die Hard
like that.
2.
Yeah. Well, Die Hard 2, very appropriate, because that happened at
an airport. But
and I don't mean that as an insult. I will give this 3 frenzies.
It's a solid 3.
I did like it. I will recommend it.
It's worth watching.
It is action-packed. There's stuff going on. It will not waste your time.
No, there are some moments like, damn, they actually went there? Holy crap.
Yep.
And others is like, really? So
Yep.
there were a couple of little cringy things, but for the most part, it was a rock-solid movie.
Yep. Yep, that's how I look at it, too. It's entertaining. It's enjoyable. It's 2 hours.
And it doesn't feel like 2 hours. It goes by at a good clip. It doesn't drag.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to make it out to be anything like an all-time classic, but there's definitely a lot worse out there you could watch.
Yeah. No, we recommend it.
I have a couple things I don't want to spoil for people. I just have a couple things about the movie that maybe you and I will talk about off mic
camera.
That
Off
I have
air.
issues with.
Yeah.
That just keep it from ascending higher. But the ones that have ascended to the highest level, that's where we're going next.
Yep, we've had our top 5 songs, our top 5 albums, our top 5 concerts. Now it's time for our top 5 movies.
And I have a feeling that the fun is going to be from 5 through 2. I just have a feeling that number 1 is pretty much locked in. So
it could be.
The fun will be 5 through 2. Because I know a lot of movies that you've watched that I haven't, and vice versa, will come into play here.
All right. I believe it's time for you to begin.
Yeah, I think so. My fifth favorite movie of the year is a tough one because I feel like I'm giving it. This is lower than I thought. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the year, this movie's coming out, and I'm like, this is going to be one of my favorite, best movies of the year. And I feel like I'm putting it in at 5 just because of that, because of my anticipation for this movie and what I thought it was going to be.
And what it wasn't?
And it was still good, but it wasn't great. So number 5 for 2024 for me is The Fall Guy. I wanted more. I wanted it to be better. I wanted more, but it was still good enough. I'm
I
balanced.
couldn't quite put it in the top 5.
I know. I get it. Believe me, I get it. There were a couple there where I was like, should I put this ahead of The Fall Guy? Could I really do that? Maybe that says what a weak year it was again for movies.
Potentially.
But believe me, it was a struggle. But I gotta put it in at 5.
Yeah, it just
I understand.
missed.
I understand.
See, for me at 5, I put Iron Claw
Okay.
that we watched.
See, now technically, don't get mad at me.
It was an older
It was
movie,
2023.
but I did not watch it till now.
Okay.
It was that borderline for me.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm not getting picky about this stuff.
So, now if you want to poo-poo that, then that
No,
slides.
I'm not poo-pooing it. I understand it. It's tricky. You know, a movie comes out, last week of December of a year, and you can't
and then you
judge
can't
it in the
get
next
it
year.
until...
Yeah. I get it.
So.
I get it. I get it. And I did like the Iron Claw. I did. All right, my number 4 for 2024 is a movie that did not become a great movie until the last 20 minutes, and then it all came together. My number 4 movie of 2024 is Caddo Lake.
Dude! That's my number 4.
Inventive, creative,
different. It
takes time travel,
my
but it
God.
really turns it on its head, and it makes you use your brain
you
and
have
pay attention.
to think and pay attention.
You have to
every
watch it
freaking
twice.
details. The bridge. The bridge.
The boat.
And the boat.
When
and
she steals the boat.
Oh my God.
Caddo Lake was
brilliantly
much better
done.
than I expected.
Yes. Yeah, it took the whole time travel stuff to a new level.
Yes. So both of us
Yep.
have Caddo Lake at number 4. So I'm up in 3.
Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Well, now this is where it gets easier. We talked about with music. We talked about how Jack White number 1 by far and away, and then the next 2 to me by far and away. With movies, the top 3 separated themselves easily, better than everything else. And really not shocking, not shocking at all. Now it's not going to be the same as yours because one of them I know you haven't seen.
Right, and I've got one that you haven't seen.
And I know which one that is. But my number 3 movie for 2024 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Maybe, possibly not quite as good as Fury Road or The Road Warrior, but still an exceptional entry into the Mad Max canon. And it's a shame.
What did I forgot about? Damn it!
Shame. It's a shame.
It was very good.
It did not do that good at the box office.
Yep.
It's a shame that people didn't go see this.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about that one.
So I fucked your list up again.
A little bit. But that's all right, because at number 3 for me was The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare,
Which I never got to see. Yeah.
which was great. So good. Action-packed. You had the comedy bits. Loosely based on a true story. You could tell the actors had fun playing the characters. And that really helps bring a movie home, where they enjoy what they're doing.
Yep, Henry Cavill and Alan Rickson. Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah, I've
good.
got to watch that movie. Another one where I can't believe I haven't been able to parcel out 2.5 hours to watch it. So my number 2 movie for 2024, which you have not gotten to see yet, which is brilliant beyond belief, is Alien Romulus. Where you had the 3 classic movies, Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and then the series kind of fell apart. Resurrection was kind of a joke. Prometheus was more story-based than action-based.
Right.
Then Covenant tried to bring everything back. Romulus is worthy of being with those first 3. Romulus is non-stop action from beginning to end. It makes sense.
There you go.
As opposed to Carry On, where there were a couple things where I'm like, why can't he do that? Why can't he get away? This is a sci-fi adventure with spaceships and aliens and acid blood, and I'm watching and going, it all makes sense. Everything makes sense with what's going on in this scene and this ridiculous action. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just phenomenal. I love the movie.
There we go.
And I was going to tell you, I believe, about my daughter's Christmas gift to me. I'm hoping.
Did she get you the signed director's cut of I Saw the TV Glow?
Yeah. Dave, I haven't got to my number 1 movie yet, okay? No, but I put together like a 7-item list on Amazon of things that I didn't want to spend the money on.
She didn't get a 1.
I haven't opened it yet. But I guarantee, because I have Alien Romulus on that list, because I don't want to spend $25 on the Blu-ray. So I put it on there, and she knows I love that movie. And I got the package, and it feels like it's got 2 movies in it. But I put 2 cheap-ass movies on my list. How much you want to bet?
She got the 2 cheap-ass movies.
She got the 2 $10 movies instead of spending $25 for one I really wanted. That she knew I really wanted, which was Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
She got me nonstop, which is another movie that reminds me of Carry On, the old Liam Neeson action flick on an airplane, and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Guarantee those are the 2 she got me, because they were both $10.
Nice.
Guaranteed.
All right. I was just checking something, because what I had as my number 2 was another 2023. So I have to revamp.
No, well, I don't want to do that to you.
That's all right, because I forgot about Furiosa, so I can... It's a good slide in it, too. Because that's where I would have put Furiosa.
What would you have had originally? Tell me.
Godzilla -1, because I didn't get to see it
until... see...
So
I would have done that too, but it's 2023.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that.
No, because that would have been in my top 5.
So
that's my top 5 for 2023.
That's the problem. Is I thought, all right, watching it in the year it came out, we have to.
Well, see, that's the problem. Is we did our top list last year for 2023, and we didn't have Godzilla -1 on it.
Right, because we didn't get to see it.
Because it didn't come out on video until well into 2024.
Right. So therein lies the dilemmas.
Rub. That's the rub.
So
And I would be with you on that. That would be
I
in my
will
top
throw
5.
Furiosa in it too. I
But
can
we
do
should
that.
let us give honorary mention to Godzilla -1.
Which was fucking fan-damn-tastic.
Because of the way everything fell, like I just mentioned. It didn't make our best list for 2023.
Because we didn't get to see it.
Same with the Iron Claw.
Right.
Those were great movies from late in 2023. We didn't get to see until well into 2024.
Yep. So,
especially Godzilla -1 would have
which
made my
would have
list.
shame. That would have been probably the top of 2023.
Close, very close.
It would have probably been 2. All right. So Furiosa for me at 2.
And I did my 2, right? So, gee, let's call it quits right now. We don't have to do number 1, do we?
No, I think it's a given.
I saw the TV glove.
Said nobody ever, except for maybe Cass.
Yeah, my daughter. Oh my God. How could it not be Deadpool and Wolverine? It's not even close.
Not even close. Oh my God. This had everything.
And that was disheartening hearing Aaron on Monday talk about it like, oh, it just had too much.
No, it wasn't too much.
It went too far over the... No, it was
not.
It was
perfect.
Brilliant. It was brilliant. From Chris Evans showing up.
Flame on. What?
To bringing back Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Garner.
Come on.
And then having us get our first glimpse of Channing Tatum as
Gambit.
And sorry, the movie's been out, kids, for 6 months. For now, we can spoil.
Yeah.
We can spoil.
We can spoil this one.
Yes.
And Kidpool and everybody. Oh my God.
And all the little in-jokes. You know, the store name, Rob Liefeld, the original creator of Deadpool. Just all of it.
It was fan-freaking-tastic.
The 20th Century Fox logo buried in the wasteland. I am Disney Jesus. Now, I told you earlier tonight off mic, I said, if somebody ever comes up to me at a party or the first time I meet them and they tell me they're obsessed with reality TV or crime documentaries,
I'm walking away.
I'm walking away. Here's my other qualification. If they tell me I don't get Ryan Reynolds, I'm walking away.
Bye-bye.
I'm walking away.
Bye-bye.
Ryan Reynolds is one of the funniest, smartest men on the face of this earth. And if you don't get him...
Shame on you.
From Deadpool to the Mint Mobile commercials.
God, go back to Van Wilder. Waiting.
I know. But I'm just saying, qualification for being my friend. Because Deadpool and Wolverine is partially his brainchild that they've been working on for years and years. And he probably was
ready for it. He pushed it.
And he was probably worried about Disney stepping in.
And ruining it. No, he got to do the movie he wanted to do.
Him and Sean Levy, the director, said, hey, we're doing this the way we want to do this. And even though Disney usually fucks up everything they touch, because they didn't get to touch this,
that's why this succeeded.
It becomes the biggest R-rated movie of all time.
Yeah. Did you see his commercial for raising money for the sick kids that he does in Canada with Linda Carter?
No.
Oh. It's great. He's got one of his kids playing Kidpool in the Santa's sleigh. And he comes out and like, all right, that takes care of that. Throws Santa's bag and he gets in. All right, now we got to take care of the sick kids. And Kidpool goes, dude, that's effing sick. What's wrong with you? It's like, no.
And Linda Carter's in it?
Oh, yeah.
Wonder Woman?
Yes. It's great. Well, I'll have to show it to you
Okay.
off mic when we're done. But if you get a chance, look it up. It's phenomenal. It harkens back to the ugly sweater party post on that he had on X or whatever you want to call it. He was invited to, and his buddies said, "Yeah, it's an ugly sweater party," when it wasn't.
Oh boy.
So, no, this commercial to raise money for sick kids it's funny. It's good. It's Canadian, eh?
Again, if you don't like Ryan Reynolds, you and I can't be friends. You can't. Just can't be my friend. So, number one movie, unanimous, by
Yep,
far and away,
no doubt about it.
Deadpool and Wolverine. So that leads us into one little moment of silence. Teeny tiny moment of silence. Michael Brewer. Dave's going, who? Michael Brewer.
I know
who?
that name.
No, you don't. Michael Brewer from the duo of Brewer and Shipley, who had they were the one-hit wonders who had the big hit, One Toke Over the Line. So unfortunately, we lost one half of Brewer and Shipley. So that means what, Dave?
It's time to pivot. Who will be this week's pop culture dumbass of the week?
I think
the
I've
Red
got-
Foreman dumbass of the week.
I got 5 good ones. 5 good ones. Sometimes
Challenge me.
Sometimes I'm a little. I feel like I'm a little weak, but not this. I'm bringing the hot sauce this week, not the weak sauce. All right, number one. We'll start off light. Okay, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, except for that one video. Oh my God, seriously, that one video she does just. She looks like the most beautiful woman in the world, and I literally have to keep cleaning my computer screen off.
Hey.
But anyway, I'm sticking up for Taylor Swift on this one. And this is all about social media, and I'm sick of social media and trolls and all the idiots out there.
Social media is the downfall of society.
Okay, so Taylor Swift just concluded her $2 billion grossing.
That's gross.
Eras tour. But now, gross kids, see, this is where the trolls don't understand basic math, basic economics. Grossing means before taxes and all expenses.
Paying out all the roadies, the dancers, the venues, all of that.
So that doesn't mean Taylor Swift made $2 billion off of the Eras tour.
Then she has to take that money and pay all the expenses. Net
But
what she made.
What did she still find in her heart to do? And people are criticizing her for saying it's not enough because, again, they think she made $2 billion off the Eras tour. She gave only $197 million in bonuses to her road crew. But that's not enough.
On top of what they already earned.
Yes.
That's just bonuses.
Truck drivers are getting $100,000 checks on top of
what they already made, which came out of that $2 billion.
And these idiot trolls are going, oh my God, she's so selfish. She's so greedy. She's not giving them more. She made $2 billion. No, she didn't.
The bonuses, you dumbass. They already had their salary. That was on top of what they earned. That comes out of that $2 billion, you morons. Maybe if you actually got a job instead of living in Grandmama's basement.
And studied. Got a degree?
Hell, finished high school?
Let's stay with the concert theme, shall we?
Sure, why not?
And our lying, and I'll say it, lying piece of shit president. The current one. He got out there yesterday and, oh my God, look what I've done now. Look at the greatness I have done. And this applies to us as music and concert fans. Joe Biden got out in front of a microphone and said, look what I have done with the FTC. The FTC has, quote, banned junk fees.
Bullshit!
For all live event tickets.
Bullshit.
He said that. He said they have banned all junk fees. That's an absolute 100% lie. That's a piece of horse shit. What they did was what they've already got Ticketmaster and Live Nation pretty much doing. They forced them to tell you up front
what the final cost is.
They have not eliminated junk fees. They're still charging all the bullshit fees that they were charging before.
They just gave them a loophole to hide it even better.
They just have to tell you up front.
Yeah. It's still junk fees. It's all bullshit.
For him to say they eliminated the junk fees is an out and out 100% fucking lie. They did not eliminate the fees. What are they trying to do? Shame Ticketmaster?
No, they hid them.
Don't lie to us, Joe, and tell you did something you didn't. You didn't do anything other than now we know up front we're getting fucked instead of getting fucked. We're getting fucked in the front instead of getting fucked in the rear.
So thanks for
Joe.
nothing, you loser.
And fuck YouTube TV, by the way. This one's a little personal for me. But YouTube TV, if this was a sports edition, we would say we fucking told you so. That when they decided to get in a deal with the NFL for the NFL Sunday Ticket, I said
they're gonna raise their rates to
for
pay
everybody,
for it.
not
for everyone,
not just charge the people who want the Sunday Ticket, but everybody who gets YouTube TV is going to pay for this.
It's going to have to pay for it. And lo and behold,
they have just announced a price increase taking effect in January of 2025. $10 a month more, which will bump it up to $83 a month. That is a total increase since March of 2023 of $18 a month. Roughly coinciding with the announcement that they were going to take on the NFL Sunday Ticket. So nobody's getting the Sunday Ticket. You're losing money on the Sunday Ticket.
So you're going to charge everybody else. Idiots.
And then on top of it all, you can't go anywhere else because everybody else charges the same price. Hulu plus live TV. Huh. $83 a month.
Everyone's in collusion.
It's bullshit. And then if you want to do Xfinity Stream or you want to do Direct TV Stream, you think you switch over to them? Xfinity Stream, you got to have Xfinity Internet.
Yep.
Direct TV Stream, you have to have a device. Still have to have a device for every TV.
And they charge you for the devices.
Joe Biden. So we got Joe Biden. Now let's go after Jill Biden. I don't know who these kids are, but I love them. At a recent Toys for Tots event at the White House, our First Lady, our glorious, wonderful First Lady,
idiot,
came out with all these bright, shining, happy faces, expecting glorious time with toys. Joe Biden comes out and says to all these kids at the Toys for Tots event, "Happy holidays!" And the kids yell back at her in unison, "Happy Christmas!"
Bitch!
I wish they would have said bitch. But we don't deal with this namby-pamby-pc happy holidays.
No, Merry
bullshit.
Christmas, kids.
But they shouted her down.
Good. Good for them.
Happy Christmas. And then she had to come back and go, "Oh yes, Happy Christmas." And finally, the Scripps National Spelling Bee has approved for the third graders, because there's different levels for the spelling bee. They have approved the feminist spelling of the word women. How do you spell women, Dave?
WOMEN. Are they allowing YN now?
Yes.
Fuck them. That's bullshit.
Yep. The feminist spelling of women, WOMYN, will now be acceptable
Bullshit.
in the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Unacceptable.
And they call on me and I go, FUCKYOU.
You are correct, sir.
So,
I'm doubling down. The Bidens, period. End of conversation.
you're going to take both of them?
Yep. Taking them both down.
I can't stand the fact that he lied. He's trying to take credit for getting
something he didn't do.
Ticketmaster and Live Nation have not gotten rid of any of their fees, you idiot. Just because they're telling you up front that they're going to charge you 40% more than the face value for a ticket does not solve the problem, you idiot. See, for me personally, I'm mad at YouTube TV, so I'm picking
Well,
them.
there you go. I'm taking the Bidens.
Which is fine. I'm with you on that. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with all of these.
Yes, all worthy.
And all you idiots out there, again, criticizing Taylor Swift, do a basic economics course. Gross versus net. What that means. Look at your own goddamn pay stub.
If you get one, you trolls living in grandmama's basement rent-free.
That'll do it for the weekend edition. Hope you enjoyed it. We did our top 5.
Life is good.
Dave will be off for 2 weeks.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, kids.
But you're stuck with me. You're stuck with me for the next 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do, I'll review all the crap that Dave would never touch with a 10-foot pole.
There you go.
It's just too bad there's not a Dave Matthews Band album out there.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
But we do hope you guys have a great Merry Christmas and a happy holidays and a fantastic New Year. Be safe on New Year's. It's amateur hour. Don't go out and drink and drive.
You have Uber and Lyft for that stuff.
That's a young person's game. I was about
Been there, done that.
I was done with that by 28, 29 years old.
Yeah. New Year's it only goes so far.
Yeah. You got football, you got sleep. Get some sleep.
There
Get
you go.
some sleep.
And let's face it, the countdown shows anymore suck balls.
Yeah, well, they're not rock and roll anymore.
It's crappy entertainment.
And as we've kind of alluded to throughout the show, we have got a ton of cool stuff that Dave and I are lining up for the new year.
Yep, playing catch up with a lot of stuff, some new things coming down the line.
Yep, so just because we're done with the vampires and we're done with Yellowstone,
doesn't mean we don't have anything to watch.
Nope. Time rolls on. So does Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Beautiful.
We will figure out a way. somehow to get this in the Smithsonian, somehow to get Sports Frenzy
into the
in a
national
time capsule,
spotlight.
somehow, some way. We will figure it out
Spread the love. Get us out there.
before I die in 4 months. I gotta stop eating Taco Bell. Just got to.
That's no bueno.
It was wonderful though yesterday. I had Taco Bell and I brought home 4 or 5 things. I'm gonna have them tonight after you leave.
And there we
Fry
go.
them up all nice and crispy in the oven. Green sauce burrito, the throwback to the 70s. Oh God, yes. And then I'll have my angioplasty scheduled for Friday morning.
There you go.
I'm going to miss this guy for a couple weeks.
I'm going to miss being here.
But we'll have it all ready to rock and roll in 2025. Tremonti.
New album.
Coming out January the 10th. That'll be our first big new music review for 2025.
Gonna be good.
Movies coming out all the time. New shows, as we've said. But he's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane. We are Sports Frenzy 2.0, baby.
Hopefully we got you through your hangover. And until next time, say goodnight to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.